Joe Garruba has been spending time working on protecting the children of Hollis, really from what's going on in the schools, and it's the stuff that we've just talked about. Since last summer, he has most recently been working with aghast.com, and that's a team that's really working to educate Hollis residents on critical race theory and its implementation here in Hollis. So, spend a couple minutes with Joe.
Thank you, Kent. It's great to have the opportunity to be here. Over the last month or so, I have been able to work with a really talented and dedicated and passionate group of volunteers at abouthollis.com. And the group that we worked with really put in countless hours to try and educate the people of our town about what's happening with critical race theory in our schools. So you probably are aware that we submitted an amendment to a warrant article. We titled our amendment Equity, Justice, and Unity, and we did that because we wanted to differentiate from the twisted language that's being used by the left in their concept of DEI. So the amendment is based on the language of HB 544. It's 9 common sense principles aligned with the work of Dr. Martin Luther King. Although the amendment did not pass at the co-op, the effort helped educate many people in our town, and it showed that there is a large vocal group opposing CRT. And I think that was important because getting this out there as an issue, as Sue said, is really key in order for us to motivate people to stand up and point out how bad it really is. So looking to the future, we need to be prepared to attend school board meetings because the school board is going to be moving forward with their diversity, equity, and inclusion program. We need to be prepared to write letters to the school board and the superintendent to make sure they understand our positions. And About Hollis is asking each one of you here in attendance today to sign up for our newsletter so that we can make sure that we can coordinate our efforts to maximum effect. So if you go to the abouthollis.com website, at the bottom there's a link for an email news list, and I would ask that all of you please sign up for that, and we'll keep you informed. So one other thing that I wanted to bring to your attention, this is some great work being done elsewhere in the state on the concept of critical race theory. In Moultonborough, Dr. Mike Green has organized a day-long workshop titled Understanding the Threat of Critical Race Theory, and his seminar will cover the history of critical race theory, the academic incursions, critical race theory's promotion of anecdotes over science, and the difference between equality and equity, as well as CRT's disruptive tactics like interruption and chanting. So if any of you are interested, that seminar will be held at the Lions Club in Moultonborough on May 22nd from 8:15 to 4:30. And if you are interested in registering, you can send an email to crtseminar@roadrunner.com. Thank you.
Okay, so we'd like to take some questions for our legislatures. Any particular questions from the floor? And if you have any and you are on Zoom, Eric will help convey those to us. So any questions you'd like to ask? And then we're going to move into the second portion of our discussion.
The same question, is there a textbook that they teach from?
So the question is, for critical race theory, is there any instructional material that's commonly used in for example, in Hollis? Any input on that, Joe?
So in doing the research to prepare for the amendment that we put forward, I did look into that. There is textbooks that are used at the college level. There's some PDFs of these textbooks that are available online. You can just download them. I can pass off the copy that I have. So you can certainly see this stuff. There's the more modern material, which you'll probably hear about in the news media, is from Ibram Kendi and Robin DiAngelo. I think White Fragility you'll probably hear often. So there's plenty of material to back up the concept that these ideas, which seem off the wall to us, are actually being taught in textbooks. And if you read the books, you can see the language that Keith described. What's that?
It's going to be a course. It's going to be a course.
So it already is a course in universities. It's not unusual there. I don't know what would happen in the schools.
How is it related to the 16-19 program? Is that where it started, or is it?
So I think you're probably better for like the history of this. I'm not the expert on those things, but my understanding is that they're related.
Next question.
But in the same vein, maybe he's trying to ask the same question in a different way. Apart from the idea that there may not be any textbooks per se that are being used today, what is the school board's position on setting up a framework for instruction? In other words, is there any sort of a, if you call a roadmap or an overall course design or overall strategy for how they intend to introduce this, both at the kindergarten up through the 12th grade?
So the school board, this started in our school district in July of 2020. There was a petitioner brought a resolution with all of those kind of key words that you've heard: systemic racism, equity, quality of outcomes. So the process was started in July, and the school itself then went ahead and they appointed a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee, which then produced a modification of the resolution, and that is yet to be voted on. So it's actually on the school website, so you can read it.
Could you give us a link before tonight's session?
Sure, yeah, I have it. It's not my website, but it's the SAU website.
Croc TV.